Yes, people, big up and welcome back into another pre-match pump up here on WeAreTottenhamTV, joined by myself, Jacob. Ash dropped in about 30 seconds before the countdown finished. Lateness is greatness. I got Nick, Lazy 8, and Jose from El Tel Cocorel. No Kate, no Jim, as they're both at the Ipswich match, so we wish them both fair tidings. Is that something we say? I don't know. But a good morning from a very, very cold and brisk El Paso, Texas. The sun has yet to rise, but I'm here in a slightly different location than maybe you're used to, but that's okay. Nick, you're in the same location as always. How are you doing this morning?
Same as always. Good, man. Good, man. I'm feeling a little vicious, a little vital, man. I'm out for blood. I want to see next stepped on today, man. You know, big up Jose, big up Ash arriving late in the box like Brennan Johnson. You know, I want to see Johnson getting the rebounds today, coming in. I want devastation, man. And I'm not going to accept anything less. That's how I'm feeling.
I love it. I love it. And always good to be joined by you, Nick. And Jose, I can't actually, maybe we've done one pre-match pump up, but you did have a good streak going of 100% record of getting it right, and hopefully you get it right. But we have no Kate today, so we got to have someone that brings us back down to earth. And I've taken pledge to be the Jimbo today. I will have the outlandish scores that, you know what, if Tottenham do their job, then we could attain it, because Jim was right versus Villa. He said 4-1, we got 4-1. But Jose, good morning. How are you doing, and how are you feeling this morning going into Ipswich?
Yeah, it's already, we're a fair part into our day at the moment, and unlike you two at the top, it's very early for you guys. We're a fair part into our day, so yeah, been awake for a fair few hours, and always as match day approaches, I'm always looking forward to watching us play, regardless who the opposition are. But we're at home today. We're at home today. It's a different beast today. We're at home. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And Ash Maddock, I ain't heard from you in a bit. I didn't even know you were going to be here. But just like me in a warehouse, I wasn't expecting to see you, but I am so glad you were here. How are you doing this morning, afternoon for you folk living ahead of, you know, you'll live in the future out there in the UK. But how are you doing, Ash?
Yeah, my broskies, I'm blessed and I'm here and I'm looking forward to the game. Just like you guys, man. Let's get in. Let's get into it, man. Let's get straight on it, man.
Let's get straight into it. Well, big up everybody in the chat. Look, over 200 people here. We just started, so hope you're doing well. Hope you're being kind to yourself and to others. And do one time hit a like on the video for everybody. We are Tottenham TV. The watch along will resume after this show finishes. But look, where else do we start? But I'm going to say what needs to be said. Last time we played a team that hadn't won in the Premier League, we assisted them in helping them attain that first win, that win that they couldn't seem to get otherwise until they faced us. Ipswich, 0 wins, 5 losses, 5 draws. They sit 18th, I think, and 19th, something, and they're in the relegation zone. But Nick, I'll start with you. What have you seen from Ipswich so far? Because I personally don't think, like with Palace, I don't think they're as bad as their record says. I
Yeah.
think they have better players than maybe their record gives off. But where do you see Ipswich right now? And are you concerned that this whole, hey, you need a win, paging Dr. Tottenham, are you concerned?
It's the whole wounded animal trope, man, and we got to worry as Tottenham fans. We got to worry about that because we succumb to it so many times. They're scrappy, Ipswich. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but you know what? They like to play their football. They don't, they're not known for sitting deep down in there, but we have no excuses at this point in time. We know what we're about, and we know what we can do, and we know that it's us. It's our team mentality that lets us down when we are let down. It's not lack of ability, and most of the time, there's been some tactical tweaks by managers, but when it comes to teams that are well below us in a quality level, it's always our own mentality that shoots us in the foot at the end, man. And as I've heard from a lot of people, man, respect to Ipswich for getting this far and being in the Premier League, but I want to see no respect given to them at our stadium right now because we should be on top of them, pressing the hell out of them for at least 80 minutes of this game. Well, and that's it. That's it. We got to control the ball. We got to hit them early, and then we got to keep coming at them until they just beg us to stop. That's what I want to see because we've had this opportunity. We have an opportunity handed to us. And this is what worries me and everybody else, I'm sure, is because whenever we have these opportunities just given to us on a plate, like, hey, you know what? If Fartsenal and Smelski blow it or get a draw today and we get our 3 points, guess what happens? We all know what happens. This is something that's about to be handed to us potentially. And we cannot blow it right here. We have to show who is the better team, because we are, who has the more firepower, who has the stronger defense. All of that is a fact. And I have to see it. There are no excuses not to show up.
Well, like you said, we are at home, so the mentality should be just fine. But Jose, talk to me. Same question for you. Are you concerned at all a bit? Obviously, when we played Palace, they had no wins. We looked very, very smelly versus them, and not the good smelly, like a nasty cheese that's been fermenting, but more like a stinky poo from a dog. But what do you think about Ipswich, first of all, and then secondly, our ability to go ahead and silence what some may say is Spursy?
Kieran McKenna has got his way of playing, and he's got Ipswich playing a certain way. He's a bit like the Southampton manager. It's the way that they're going to play. They're not changing for anything. They're going to play that way. They're going to implement their style and their tactics to go and play that game. But for me, in all honesty, if I look, football was never played on paper, but when you look at Tottenham at home have been brushing teams aside. At home, we've looked absolutely fantastic, and we've not looked as good away from home. So today being at home, it's an advantage for us. We have the crowd. We have got a better side than Ipswich, and I've seen no reason. It's too early to give predictions at the moment, but I see no reason why we cannot continue our home form today. And just for people to know, Ipswich on the road have played 5 games away in the league, and 3 of them games they've been pumped by 4 goals. So Brentford scored 4 against them, City scored 4 against them, and West Ham scored 4 against them. So at the end of the day, we open up and we play a bit like Nick said, and I always say this anyway. It's within our gift. Look at what we can do, not what others can do. If we're on our game today and we impose ourselves, then we win the game today. And for those people that, for me, a win's a win. You stop the L's, get the W's. So a 1-0 would suffice because that gets you the 3 points. But today, in all respects, Dr. Tottenham is not making an appearance today.
I like that, Jose. You saw into the future. You're living in the future 7 hours ahead of me, and you're telling me things that I like to hear. So big up for that. I do appreciate it. And look, Ash, I'm going to ask you the same question, but with a twist. Because I want to know from you, what do you think? Like, where does Ipswich find their success versus us? Or if, people in my chat earlier on this morning were saying that they have been unlucky. They've had a rough roll of the dice in some matches. Some results should have gone their way when they didn't. Where you sit with Ipswich, how do you see them being dangerous versus us? And, I would ask you about Dr. Tottenham, but Jose said he ain't in office today, so I much appreciate that before an international break.
With Ipswich, as Jose was saying, they've got their style, they've got their principles. They look to stick to it. They're an expansive team, so they play quite open, attacking football. Sometimes they can be direct as well, so that could play into our hands quite a bit. Teams that typically come onto us, we find a lot of joy with because that allows us to play in behind them. We can play through them. We can hit the wings. We can do so many things to break them down. Now, the issues looking ahead, if we're going for player, or we had a player on loan that we loaned out actually called Clark, and
Jack Clark?
apparently he's going to be in about. I don't know if he's starting. Obviously, you lot got the lineup there, so
I've got the lineup for Todd. It did come out as I asked you the question, so I love that.
Yeah, so boy, I don't know, but obviously Rory Delap, he's a problem. I like the look of him. Look, if Spurs said they're gonna get Delap, I wouldn't be mad. That's what I'm gonna say. Do you know what I mean? But let me not talk too much because the lineup is up, and I know you guys are gonna get into it. So hit me with that, man.
Well, the starting lineup is out for Tottenham Hotspur. Vicario, Sicario in net, as we all expected. Pedro Porro. Cuti Romero was a question mark, and I'm glad I didn't even have to ask the question, but he is there, as is Radu Dragusin, off of what some may say a woeful European showing. Destiny Udogie returns at the left back, and the midfield goes Bentancur, Sarr, and Kulusevski, which I'm going to go ahead and say it. I called for this on my Wake Up with Jacob show that I did about an hour, 2 hours ago. I said a midfield, I want Sarr, Bentancur, and Kulu, not Madison. And from my lips to Ange Postecoglou's ears, the front line is pretty much what I think everyone would predict. And our strongest front three would be Son, Dominic Solanke, and Brennan Johnson on the right. The bench is Fraser Forster. Jed Spence makes his return to the bench. Ben Davies, yeah, he's there. Archie Gray, Yves Bissouma, Lucas Bergvall, James Madison, Timo Werner is okay now. He didn't travel to Turkey, but he's here. And as is Will Lancashire, who did get his first professional goal, his first European goal, and his first professional red card. Love to see that. But look, the lineup's out. Ash, I'm going to throw it right back to you. What are your thoughts on this lineup, and does this change how you feel going into the match at all?
It's the lineup that picks itself. After that result at Galatasaray, the performance we all saw kind of put a lot of Spurs fans in a kind of painful memory. Like you said, you spoke about Palace earlier, and it kind of brought us back to that kind of mood. But I think there is a two-tier system now. There's a separation between the first team, in my opinion, and the team that goes out in the cups. There's a little bit of I'd say, a drop off, in my opinion. But I would say this is our strongest team available. I think Ange knows the strongest team now. You've got a mixture of experience at the back. In terms of our fullbacks, we know we're going to get from them. But going into the midfield now, I think that's the biggest talking point. And it's going to be Kulu, Sarr, Bentancur. Looking forward now, I think that's the team we're going to push on. It's a mixture of physicality between Sarr, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. A bit of industry, a bit of guile in there with Kulusevski on the ball, being a creative hub. And then Sarr, obviously, he was so impressive against Aston Villa at home. One of his best performances, I believe, in a Spurs shirt. And we're looking to see a bit of consistency from him. Because if we get a top performance from Sarr, I've got no doubt we'll blow this team out of the water. But yeah, Johnson, Solanke, Son. A lot of people have been putting shade on Son, saying he'd lost it. Me personally, I think he's a captain, leads by example. And I expect a stellar performance from him and to shut up his critics as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the bench. There's not too many players that will come off the bench and change things apart from Madison. I believe Madison's a guy that would help, and I think Bissouma coming on is different to Bissouma starting. But apart from that, that's all my thoughts on the starting lineup at the moment I'll be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I like it, and I agree with some of the things. And Nick, I'm going to ask you as well what your thoughts are on the lineup. And while you do that, let me just go ahead and put up as well Ipswich's starting 11. Jack Clark makes the bench, doesn't make the starting
Doesn't
11. I
start,
thought
huh? Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought Twanzanebi was injured as well, but apparently he's okay as he starts there at their right back. Leaf Davies at the left back, which I believe that's a Sheffield United player from a few years back. Dara O'Shea and Cameron Burgess, which I don't know either one of them. Sam Morsey and Jens Kajusti. I don't know who that is. Ben Johnson. That sounds like, just like an alias, like John Doe. Amari Hutchison, actually, that's a Jamaican, if I'm not mistaken. Amari Hutchison, Chelsea, I think. Sammy
Chelsea, yeah.
Smodics and Liam Delap, which Ash did mention he wouldn't mind Delap over at Delane. But Nick, what do you think about this lineup? What do you think about their lineup?
You know, I mean, Delap is the only one that that makes me stand up and say, okay, we got to be aware of what's going on with him. But as far as our lineup is concerned, on top of theirs, I like it. It's strong. The only question mark that pops up these days for any of us, I think, is really the midfield. You know, we know who's going to start in the Prem in the back line, depending on injuries or suspensions, what have you. Same pretty much with the front line. Variable on the long-term injuries that we have. It's the midfield that we're always wondering, well, how are we going to set up to counteract who we're playing, really? And I
Well,
think we got to hold the ball on this, and we got to control it. We got to deny service to their front line. If we do that, we're going to choke them right out. Especially if they're coming at us, giving us space right now. I don't hate, as much as I've heard a lot of hate from people. I don't hate the Kulusevski Madison combination, but it's designed to break down a low block, in my opinion. It's an answer to the question of why are we doing this horseshoe around low blocks that teams were doing last season, and figured out, well, just that's how we play them. We hit the low block and we play them on the break, and that's how we win. Our answer now is, we put that in the back pocket and use it when we need to, but when we want to control the midfield, we know Sarboy is coming into his own right now. He's becoming the star that we were told he was going to be 2 seasons ago when we brought him in.
Well, speaking of bringing him in, he may be late, but he looks oh so ripe, like a fresh apple from the orchard. We have Bobby K north of the border, and
Morning.
right on target of my heart. How are you doing?
I'm well, buddy. Unfortunately, I ended up falling asleep playing video games on my phone, which killed my phone, which meant no alarm this morning. So thank God for cats that need to be fed first thing in the morning.
Who doesn't
Yeah,
like a little kitty?
I'm so
meow
sorry.
meow?
I looked at the time. I'm like, shit. Yeah.
Well, Bobby,
I couldn't have got down here, so my apologies to you and everybody. But I see, yeah, Ash here, man. Like, talk about being a superstar, super sub there.
Well, I didn't even know he was going to be here. He just popped in the last 10 seconds of the countdown, so I like to see it.
Nice.
But look,
He knew
I don't know if
wasn't
you're
gonna
aware.
be. See, that's what a good guy. Thanks, Ash.
This is the starting lineup, Bobby. I want to get your thoughts real quick. Is this our strongest lineup possible right now? With Vicario, Pedro Porro, Kuti, Dragusin, Destiny, midfield of Sar, Bentancur, and Kulu, front three of Son, Solanke, and Brennan Johnson. Is that our strongest? I mean,
Is Romero
Nick was
fit,
kind of
though?
saying,
Because I thought he's a maybe.
yeah, he's starting, so he's apparently good to go.
Yeah,
Did I
he's in there.
freeze? Did I freeze, or is Bobby not talking?
Yeah, he's really
I'm
confused.
just trying to look. I know I don't have my damn glasses. These things are so small.
So for old man
Oh,
Bobby,
well, I just
let's-
read it out to you,
let's-
but here, I'll switch it this way so you can see
I was
ours.
supposed
There
to
you go.
Listen to and read.
Yeah,
the same
that's
there we go. Now we're talking.
there you go. So there it is.
Kulu's
What do you
playing
think? Kulu's in the
man.
midfield.
With Sar and Bentancur will play back. Sar will be allowed to kind of run up
Be
and
that
down.
kind of, yeah.
With the players that we have available, it's not a weak lineup. There's no kids starting in there. I think, did you guys, I'm assuming you already talked about Thursday a little bit here, and
No.
Oh.
I mean, not too
No.
much. Not
No.
too much, really.
Oh, okay. We're not going backwards. We're just looking forward to this game day, baby. Let's get this shit going. It's 7:40 something. I'm only 20 minutes late. My wife's gonna be so mad I'm making all this noise first thing in the morning. So you know what? If I'm going down in flames, baby.
Well,
I love this
Bobby, if
lineup.
you
This
notice,
is the lineup
you know,
that's getting us 3 points today, and I'm even more jacked because Ash's camera just turned on and he is so fit.
well, I'm going to contact HR. But look, Jose, let me ask you. I don't think I've asked you about your thoughts on the lineup yet. Have I? What a horrible host.
I thought, to me, after watching us the other night,
Is your mic? Did your mic get unplugged?
No, it's back now. Sorry.
Oh, there
I
it
thought-
goes. Yep.
Sorry, I sneezed, so I put it back up. Right, sorry. Anyway, I thought the lineup, Romero being fit to play, makes a change. This is just my deranged mentality. I thought to myself, with the way Dragosin played on Thursday night, I thought Romero fit today. Would he have played Romero and Davis at the back after Dragosin getting absolutely smashed on Thursday? And then in midfield, I thought to myself that he might have gone with Bentancur, Bissouma, Kulusevski. Just
Bissouma instead of Sarr.
just because what I saw Sarr on Thursday night, the way he played Thursday night. But on paper, and football was never played on paper, it's a very strong lineup. I'm looking at Ipswich. Ipswich are playing no different because they've got Delap, Schmoditz, Hutchinson. So they're going to be like the front three for them. So they're playing with an attacking lineup as well. So for me, it is what it is. We're playing at home.
Let me ask you this, Jose, because I was just thinking while you were talking about Omari Hutchinson, and I think he's actually a good player. And last match, admittedly, we dominated the hell out of them, but there was a player that stood out to me, and that was Mr. Rogers. And I had never heard of him before we went up against him, and I was actually poking fun on his name. I think on the pre-match show, I was just like, oh, who's Mr. Rogers? And he looks a hell of a player. And do you think that maybe our openness leads to allowing that number 10 for other teams to look so good? Or is Mr. Rogers just that good and maybe Omari Hutchinson won't find as much joy?
Omari Hutchinson plays, for me, Omari Hutchinson, because you could say that Omari Hutchinson and Schmodix are both the 10s. But for me, I think that they're going to play a wide three. And the focal point for them will be Delap. I don't think, unless they're going to play with 2 10s behind Delap, which for me would be suicidal if they were to do that. But they're very attacking. They've got an attacking lineup. You've got Schmodix, top goal scorer in the championship last year. Amari Hutchinson had a good loan last year because obviously he's come from Chelsea. The lap surprises me because with Man City getting rid of Alvarez and you've only got Haaland as your striker, although he's a good striker, Haaland, but Haaland's going to need to get rest and minutes. Rest and give minutes to other players. And I'm surprised they let the lap go because the lap for me could have been that foil for Haaland to replace Haaland and give Haaland a break. So, but yeah, attack. They've got an attack. Every team that plays against us has got attacking players and defensive players. You're going to play against every team that's going to have a mixture of this. But today we're at home, and it doesn't matter who you put up against us. We're just at home, and we should win this game comfortably. We're at home. No, Bobby, you only just joined. I said Dr. Tottenham is retired today.
He's taking the day off. It's Sunday. They don't work on Sundays.
He's not here today. So there we go.
It's Sunday.
Well,
he needs a day off, man. Sorry, guys.
so
can I just ask one thing, though, quickly, Jacob? I'm curious because
Yeah.
I know you talked about the midfield. I know in an attempt, because Nick said that I have to make an honest attempt to be something about a professionalism something. So I tried to read stuff before the game. I know.
Little homework, just so you can fake it along, just so you can make.
I didn't know Ash was going to be here, so obviously I'm not going to be able to fake it. He's going to catch me right away. But I thought I'd do my attempt here. But there was something about Madison's not happy, and is that why he's being excluded? There's some sort of a little bit of an issue with.
I mean,
if he can cry more.
I'm asking more. I'm asking you guys about it. It's just. I don't know if it's one of those.
I haven't personally seen anything about that. I mean, is that any of the muckrakers talking about Madison's attitude? Anybody else heard?
I just think he's just picked the team on form, and on form, Kulu's playing better than Madison in that position. It's as simple as that. I mean, a few games ago, on form, it would have been a holding, whether it was Bissouma or Bentancur, and it would have been Madders and Kulu. However, form has switched, form has changed, and Kulu has made that slot his own. And Sarr has, for the last few games in the Premier League, Sarr has turned up, and therefore Sarr's got his place on merit, and on merit, Madison at the moment doesn't deserve a start. I don't think it's anything to do with him being. I mean, obviously, as a professional footballer, Madison must be pissed off that he's not starting. But then Madison must be also looking and thinking to himself, well, I haven't been playing top shelf, and that's why I'm not in the starting 11.
I personally think it's because Madison doesn't have the same amount of physicality as a Kulusevski, and the reason why we play with Sarr, because he has protection, and we play more of a he's more of a 6/8 than say maybe what a Madison's more of an 8/10. And when Madison's in the team, we play both Madison and Kulusevski together, we look slightly more open, and I think it's a way to combat some of those issues by having a Sarr next to a Bentancur, so it kind of balances out the midfield a bit more when we do lose the ball, a bit more defensively, a bit more physicality in that midfield where we're lacking with Madison. Yes, Madison's good on the ball and he's able to unlock the door, sorry, and he's got a lot of abilities where if you play him further forward, he's that kind of guy where he can link up with Kulusevski and we can break down a low block. But I think because we're playing Ipswich and they typically would like to attack and come at us with the ball a bit more, I think that's when we need to kind of break that up, show them a little bit of respect. I know a lot of Spurs fans are looking at them like Ipswich, they're a bottom team at the moment. But on the day, any Premiership team could be a problem. And I think that's the reason why he's sticking with the Kulu / Sarr and Bentancur. Plus, Sarr gives you so much legs as well compared to like a Madison. He's going to cover a lot of the ground. He's going to help, especially on those transitions in terms of while fullbacks like to push up. Sometimes teams can get in behind down the sides, and that's why I reckon Sarr's been deployed in that midfield ahead of Madison, in my opinion. But Madison did play in the week, so it's not like he's not playing at all. It'll be different if it was one game a week and he wasn't getting no gameplay. He had a chance to prove himself actually and say, look, actually, I should be the number one starter ahead of any of these guys. And I think that's the reason why he's going with his midfield three, because of what happened at Aston Villa, in my opinion.
Well, I just think that James Madison hasn't been very good, and it's been up for grabs. And there was moments where you could say in the midfield, obviously Kulu, the entirety of the season for me has been the most consistent player. So there's never any doubt in my mind that he's going to start. It was always the other two. Was it going to be Bissouma? Was it going to be Sarr? Was it going to be Bentancur? Or was it going to be Madison? And we tried Madison, Kulu, Bissouma, Madison, Kulu, Sarr. And it was just I just don't think Madison gets back enough. Like, if you think of all the times that Madison gets forward, because I agree with Ash here in regards to why it's a Sarr instead of a Madison, because I don't think he gets back and tracks back as much as a Sarr will, even though he gets forward and gets in those dangerous positions in the final third. That's kind of where I see it. And there was a comment that said maybe it's too attacking, and I don't know if it's too attacking, but there was always going, in my opinion, going to be this shuffling and rotation, so to speak, until we find the best balance of an attacking / defensive midfield, because these midfielders are not 6s, 8s, or 10s. And Ainge has said that specifically and verbatim. I need midfielders to do all three of the jobs. That's what he said, and that's what I'm holding him to. And so for me, Sarr over Madison makes a lot of sense, because going forward, he will cover the same grounds. May not be as creative with the final passes, but look, he can win the ball back in the opponent's half, create the transition, and lay in the hockey assist. There you go, Bobby. A little Canadian love for you. So the lineup did change, because as Jose was talking about, he was saying that they were attacking. And a few comments earlier were saying how Ben Johnson is a defender. And I was like, well, let me look into this. And as I was looking into it, I came back, then they changed. They are in a back five. So Johnson is not their right wing. He will be their right wing back. You got to imagine this is going to be a low block, a stinky side. And looking at their statistics earlier this morning, they've played 10 games and they've scored 10 goals. They've conceded 21 goals. So they average a goal a game, and they average conceding over 2 a game. So to me, that sounds like a recipe for Tottenham to have a very good day, and I hope that's going to be the case. But look, I don't know what else I can say about them that really makes me think. Like, obviously, Liam Delap's a good player. I think Omari Hutchison's a good player. Twanzebe, I remember him from Southampton a couple years ago. Like, there's some good pieces there. I just think that we should have too much for him. But I'm actually a little worried because anytime I feel like, yeah, we're going to go, we should be able to do this, we're going to go do that, we don't. And it's egg on my face. And, you know, I don't want to say I'm worried about it. I'm just hesitant to jump in completely. I don't know if my phone's out of my pocket yet, and I don't know if I can get my whole body submerged in the pool. But is there anyone
Yes, you
here
can.
that's like, Bobby, are you
Yes,
fully
of course you
submerged in the
can.
pool? Talk to me.
It's choo-choo time, baby. It's game day. Get the hell on that damn train and help me shovel the coal into the engine. Let's go. Come on. Get in there. I don't even know who half these people are that you even talked about, even after you talked about them. Hutchin who, Tzinabdi B. What's that? That was that kid that was at United years back, wasn't it? I should know because I know I've got two encyclopedias to the left of me over there with Ash and Jose.
Yeah.
It is, right? So,
Yeah.
obviously, he didn't live up to hype over there. So, is he really that good that he's all the way down into Ipswich now? Come on. And I think this is us just kind of giving us ourselves our little protective barrier to say, okay, you know what, guys? Well, it sometimes it happens. Bullshit. Not today. We came out of a hostile environment on Thursday with 10 men. We fought. We played better. They got a little bit of life in them. Angie's going to feed them some serious love with a foot up that ass, and we'll have them pumped up for today. So, no, three points is in the bag. Jose said 6-1 today, I think.
Yeah, well, I do like that. I mean, Jose did say in the beginning of the show, the office is closed. Dr. Tottenham is taking no new patients.
He's off.
Nick,
There you go. Jose has spoken. Enough. That's it. We can end the show.
well, not yet, but we will be ending off in about 15 minutes or so. So, Nick, be that as it may, we've looked at both lineups. We've talked about us a little bit. I want to know, and obviously, chat, this is the same thing for you. This is your time to put in your score predictions and who's going to score the goals. We'll run through as many as we can before the show is over. But let me check in with the panel before we do that. Nick, talk to me.
You know what, man? I mean, I'm pretty much a one-trick pony, so I'm going to go back to the only point I made earlier in the day is the difference in the midfield. My question is, so if they are playing five in the back, and if we are going to come up against a low block team, and that's just a shift that was just made with this lineup, are we going to see Madison and Kulu together at some point in time, maybe in the second half, if we're not able to break through right there? Even though when I think about that, and when I think about last season, though, we have two weapons that we just did not have last season. We have Kulusevski as a midfielder, as attacking midfielder right now, which is massively changed the way we play. But then we have the massive, not so secret weapon of Dom Solanke, who physically and on the ball can just get around defenders. We see that and open up play for other people. So whether Madison's playing or not, I actually think we probably had the creativity and the hold-up strength to deal with what happened with elbows in the back from a five-man backfield into whoever's taking the ball. You know, I'm a lot more confident than I was last season on dealing with that. I want to see a plus 14 goal difference minimum for us at the end of this match, man. I think it's 1-0. Fine, I'm going to be happy we got the win, but as far as I'm concerned, something wrong happened there, you know, if that's it. And God forbid that's anything less than that, because you're going to see a happy clapper turning into an absolute gloom doomer right there, because something dramatic has happened, and we got to go in through another 2 weeks of dealing with the BS from the Spurs sphere.
Don't even think
it,
Nick.
Well, Nick, I wouldn't call it the doom gloomer. I call that the wah-wah.
Yeah,
and it's okay if you want to
wah-wah.
wah-wah. It's okay. But you
I
didn't give me a score prediction.
To hold those wham for 2 weeks until we go back in. So my score prediction, man, is I'm going to go for a clean sheet, and I rarely ever do. I want a 3-0. I want a 3-0 solidly, and I think we should have it. We have the attack to do that. We have the defense to hold on to it, and we definitely have a better midfield, man. That's what I'm saying.
I like it. I like it. Clean sheet. You're giving nothing to the whans, that's for sure, because, if we can just not keep a clean sheet, that gives them something to chew on for a couple weeks. But, Jose, let me go to you, buddy. What do you think for your score prediction? Who's scoring the goals for you?
I do my prediction show on a Friday, so it's well before the lineups are done, and I've got no reason to change it. I mean, I take a 1-0 win just to get a W, get the 3 points on the board, move on international break. But I went for Friday. I went for 4-0 to Tottenham. I love myself a clean sheet. I think that we will score goals. I don't fear Tottenham at home. I don't fear anyone that comes to our stadium. We will win the game today. I'm going for 4-0. As for goal scorers, I'll leave that to people. I don't care who scores the goals, just as long as we score the goals. But if I really want to be putting my head on the chopping block, I'd like to see Solanke get a hat trick, because Solanke has scored 5 goals, 3 in the league so far, and I want to see Solanke get in all competitions. I want to see him get to 15 before Christmas. So he's on 5. It's a third of the way of where I want him to get to by Christmas. So 3 goals today would actually help that. And the 4th goal, I don't care if Dragusin scores it. To me, it doesn't matter who scores the 4th. I'd like to see Solanke get a trick. 4-0.
Okay.
Dr.
4-0.
Dr. Tottenham's away for a while.
Well, Dr. Tottenham's going to get assassinated, is what I heard. But Bobby K.
Hello.
Let me go to you now, buddy. What's your score prediction for today, and who's scoring the goals?
Before we get into that, Jacob, I just wanted to say me and Jose had our win streak disrupted on Thursday. Every pre-match pump-up we've done, we have had a victory. We refuse to accept responsibility for that because it's Kate's fault. Kate, in the chat, during the chat, basically said that we were going to lose that day. So she jinxed us. And secondly, that was in Europe, so it doesn't count. Me and Jose have both said we're winning today. And Jose is happy with the 1-0, but I'm not. I want to see them go out there and smash the crap out of him. I want to see Jonathan back riding that high rail, that high train, buddy, where he's all happy, sitting on cloud 9, scoring and refusing to celebrate. I love it. Get this kid 2 goals for me. I need Solanke to pop in 2 as well, because we've got a bet going on, a gentleman's bet, where if Solanke hits 15 goals this season, the other person is going to donate to charity. If we don't, then we will. So regardless, I need Solanke to put the numbers in for me, and I need Sonny to get him. I need Sonny to get 2. And that's for you, Jacob. That's just for you. Nobody else is allowed to celebrate Sonny's brace today. That's for Jacob only. Because there's Jacob. He's been poor guy. Look at him. He's got a toque and everything, a jacket on. He's been forced out into the garage.
I'm freezing. It's cold.
5 a.m. in Texas. Okay, and it's never cold in Texas. Okay,
well, it's cold today.
Commitment, baby. I couldn't even make it for 7 a.m. My man's up at 5 a.m. Big up, Jacob. 6-0.
I was actually live at 2:30 this morning.
I feel bad. I left Nick and Ash out now. So can I say 8-0 and just add them a goal each too, just for
yeah, sure. Why not?
Man?
Yeah, okay.
Why not? Ash.
For Ash, I'm going to give Ash one from Poro there, because I know he's a big Poro lover, and for Nick, it's going to be Superstar.
That's right. That's right. Star Boy incoming.
Star Boy's cut, because I want to hear him singing that song in the streets today. He's been walking around saying, "I'm a star. He's our star, man." Yeah, go for it. Let's go.
Waiting on
Ashmatic, talk to me, baby. What is your score prediction today, and who is scoring the goals for you?
I'll keep it simple. It's going to be a 3-1 Spurs win. I would love a clean sheet, but these boys have let me down in the past. That's my only little downer. But I think we'll get the job done. I'm looking for a performance, if I'm being totally honest. From the back of Galatasaray, so I'm looking for Ange to get in their ears, get inside their minds. He's a top man motivator, so I'm expecting a big performance, not just in the first half, or not to say in the second half, because we are second half FC, but I'm looking for the first half to be just as disruptive and boisterous as the second half. I want both halves to be big talking points for us Spurs fans. We do need a reaction from the boys and the lads. I would love it if Solanke gets in the score sheet. He's had a few, not haters, but a few doubters, and I want him to prove them wrong as soon as possible. He's a quality player, in my opinion. Kulusevski, again, I wouldn't mind him on the score sheet, and any of those defenders. You know what? Your doggy, I think it's his time, Your doggy's been getting some hate. Any player, for me, that's been getting hate right now, I want them to get in the back of the net. I want them to score. and I want them to prove all the haters wrong.
So Timo Werner off the bench, is that what you're saying?
Listen, I'm not mad. Any player, bro. I'll be real. Any player. I don't like narratives, and I want my narratives to be destroyed and ripped up to pieces. That's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like that, Ash. I like that a lot. And look, let me run through some of the chat, and then I'll give you mine before we round off here. I got Katos in the house, says 7-0. Daweed says 5-1 Spurs. Hot Spurious says 3-0. Denzel with a 2-1. Solanke, Brennan Johnson. Onghet's got Solanke hat trick. Ben A with a 4-2 to the Spurs. Josh Hayden says Son brace Solanke, brace Poro goal. That's a 5-er, and I do like that very much. Your Forger says 4-0 Spurs. Solanke with a hat trick. King Double A 3-1 Spurs. Andrew, it's on USA if you're in America. Not sure about the UK. Kian Hatto says Tottenham 4, Ipswich 0, Sonny with 1, Solanke with 2, Brennan with 1. James Joris 2-0, Bobby K with the brace. Bobby K with the brace.
Better be
do like that as well. Queen Ellie's got a 3-0 Tottenham. Bruno 3-1 to the Spurs. And Alberto just wants a little bit of Kulusevski. I like that. Tim Rice says 4-0. Solanke with 2, Son with 1, and Sar with 1 as well. Cantab says hard fought 2-1. I've seen a couple of these hard fought 2-1s going around. Kulusevski 90 some minute winner. All I care about most, first and foremost, is the W. Secondly is the score line. Mud FC's got a Solanke hat trick. Matt Henley says 4-1. Doesn't say for who. I'm going to assume Tottenham. Majkano says 6-0. I'm going to assume Tottenham as well. And I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here. Wilson T says 3-0 Spurs. Sunshine on Spurs 6-1. Spurs win. Decky goal and assist. Brennan Johnson with 2. Solanke hat trick and an assist. Son with 3 assists and Udogi with an assist. Bob Down Under, Big Up Bob, 3-0. Solanke, Son, and Brennan Johnson will be watching our internationals to make sure they're not holding back.
Oh,
come on, Bob.
Yeah,
Spurs got a 5-1. Mud FC's got 3-0. Hat trick Solanke. Let's see. Do we have any more? I am not in a painter studio. However, the painting is done here. 3-0 in the first half. Would love a hat trick for Big Dom. I would too. Joe Bucks got 4-1. And Just a Hummus Potato says it's going to be a close 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. And real quick, I've put the link for everybody's channel in the chat. It's also in the title of this video. So no excuse to get on over there and subscribe to all of us and support us doing our thing. But look, I don't see any more. All right, here's one. Husen, Daniel Husen says 4-1 Spurs, Solanke 2, Johnson and Son. And I do like that as well. Ipswich going to get Spanky by Solanke. It's not a score prediction, but I did have to read it because you know what?
I like it. I like it.
That's a nice one. So I can't lie.
Yeah, you're going to repeat that. We both know you are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jin has got Tottenham 6-1 win. I do love that as well. Jordan, there he is with a 4-0 Spurs win. Dom hat trick would be beautiful. It absolutely would be beautiful. Got a couple 4-0s here. Destiny 5 says 4-0. Jack Bloom says 4-0. Custy says 1-0. I do a little tough fought match there. 2-1 Ipswich for Justice. That's not Justice. Gabriel says 4-1. And Faz Radfar's got a 4-1. We already know. But look, that's going to do it for the chat. But for me, I've been predicting a 4-1 because I'm like, we got to do the damn thing. And I think it's going to be a repeat of Villa, like a tough first half. They're going to be real sturdy in their defense. Their block is going to be very low. They're going to absorb all kinds of pressure. We might fall into a little bit of horseshoe Hotspur. But I think ultimately, this lineup, any variation of this lineup should be enough to beat a team like Ipswich. I'll be heavily disappointed if it's anything other than 3 points. So again, I'll take a 1-0. I'll take a 2-1. I don't care. I need 3 points. But what I think is going to happen, I think we'll concede a couple of goals. I think we'll help them score more goals than their average. So I've got Ipswich scoring 2 goals today, and I think Tottenham Hotspur are going to score 5. I think we're just going to be too much sauce. I think in the first half, we'll keep it even. It might be like a 1-1, 2-2 in the first half kind of a thing, or maybe a 2-1 our way, and then they'll get one back in the second half, and then we'll just put it on them. And ain't no one... Look, McGinn said he's never played anywhere that was as loud as Tottenham Hotspur when we got roaring. So if that crowd gets behind this team, we could win 7-0. No fucking problem. But I will say right now that I think... I'm going to go modest little 5-2. We don't keep a clean sheet. However, we do score more than our average, and we do help them score more than their average. And this is a result that I think makes everyone sleep better at the end of the night because the wham can wham about no clean sheet. We conceded 2 goals to a clueless, brain-dead manager, yada, yada. They're happy. We're happy because we won and we get to enjoy it. And, everyone's happy. All Spurs fans get happy because we conceded goals and they get to complain about that for 2 weeks. And, it's a bottom 3 team and we barely beat them or whatever. Who cares? All I care about is 3 points. But look, does anyone have any final thoughts before we sign off today?
I'm a little bit disappointed that you're giving him 2 goals, especially with your boy Romero in the back, but I won't go further on that.
Well, Dragusin for me has been disappointing, and when he's on the left as opposed to the right, he looks even more suspect. So, Jose had a point. Would it have
That's
been
okay because he didn't have Romero beside him.
Right. So listen, Jacob, if it's the other way around, if Romero plays on the left, do you change your prediction?
No, I don't like Romero on the left. We saw that once, and he looked awful in that. He looked like he couldn't
Newcastle. Against Newcastle.
Bro, there was 2 open people to this side, and he's like, nah, I'm facing this way. And it's like, bro, open your body. It wasn't natural to him. You could tell. He doesn't like that side. His passing was weird. I did not like Romero on the left. Dragusin on the left, I mean, to be fair, his best performances have come in the left-sided center back position as opposed to the right. So who knows? Maybe we will keep a clean sheet, and then guess what? What will they cry about next? But
Dragusin's going to be phenomenal today. You watch.
I like that. Hey, I'll take a clean sheet win. That's all I care about. All I care about is 3 points, and all I care about is everyone else having a great rest of your day. Stay tuned here. The watch-along begins in just a little bit. But for Nick, Jose, Ashmatic, Bobby K, and myself, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you stay blessed. Hope you stay fresh. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.